the East.
Okay.
We have the Philadelphia Eagles. What have they done? They started 4-0 so far this year. Go out there, play against New England, win a tough, gritty game where they jump out 16-0, and then Patriots make it a game, but they're able to close it. It's a solid game. And then they go out there versus the Commanders. It's a dogfight, but they end up winning in the end versus them. Go out there, beat the Vikings, and then they also take care of business versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. People worried about a Super Bowl hangover. However, they are undefeated. They're 4-0. They're not the best team in their conference, though, so I'm going to go ahead and give the Eagles an A-, just because I don't like some of the turnovers that Jalen Hurts has had.
I think A- is fair because although they're 4-0, and this is going to sound stupid, but it's not like it doesn't feel like they haven't impressed me as much. I feel like they're just kind of fulfilling their duties, which maybe that's not fair for my assessment of them, but the Commanders gave them a game, and the Vikings gave them a game, the Patriots gave them a game. So although that they are winning these games in these close matchups, there has been a lot of close games in there that maybe didn't necessarily need to be as close as they were. That being said, they're 4-0, so I can't give them anything lower than an A, so I'll give them an A-.
A-, yeah, that's fair. And then let's move to the Dallas Cowboys, who, what have they done? Go out there, beat the disgustingly overrated New York Giants, who signed Daniel Jones. Not a good idea, even though people thought it was and were hyping them up all offseason, calling Brian Dable the next Bill Belichick. Go out there and beat the Jets in week 2, blow out Zach Wilson, but still struggle to convert in the red zone, have a complete meltdown versus Josh Dobbs, and get dominated in all 3 phases of the game versus the Arizona Cardinals. We're completely embarrassed. They lose Trayvon Diggs for the whole year. That's going to come back to bite them and haunt them in the playoffs in the end of the year. And then go out there, smack down the New England Patriots, hand Bill Belichick his biggest loss. With the Cowboys, you're not the best team in your conference. You're not the best team so far in your division. You've beaten 3 of the worst offenses in the NFL, and you have the Cardinals, which should be a gimme game. So need to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles. You have failed to do that, so I have to give you a B.
Okay, that's fair. Because of how dominant their defense has been, I want to give them a high grade. But at the same time, their offense has given me a lot of fits. Tony Pollard has been fine for them, but their run game has been missing, and their red zone efficiency has been pretty poor. Dak Prescott has not impressed me either. Brian Schottenheimer, OC, I'm not impressed with what I've seen from him so far, but they are 3-1, and they have beaten the teams that have faced them, except for Josh Dobbs and that Cardinals team. But they're not the best team in their division. Or conference. So I also think that the matchups that they've had are pretty easy. I think they've had probably the easiest schedule of the best teams in football. So I'm going to give them a B+ because they have beaten the teams that they should. So I'll give them a B+, but still not impressed. The 49ers game is the big test.
Yeah, 49ers game will be the big test for both teams. We'll really see where they're standing at this point in the season. Let's take it to the next team that has not disappointed so far this year. That's the Washington Commanders. What are they up to? They are up to going out there, beating the Arizona Cardinals in week 1 in a tough, gritty game at home. Kind of a fluky game. Then they go on the road and beat Denver. They get smacked down at home by the Buffalo Bills, and then go out there, play the Philadelphia Eagles in a tough game that makes it to overtime, with expectations coming into this year with how's it going to work with bringing back Riverboat Ron, who forgot that his team could get eliminated from the playoffs last year. We're bringing in Bieniemy. Is this going to be weird? Is it not? For their expectations this year, where they set themselves up to be, they're not the worst team in their division. They're officially the 3rd best team in that division. They haven't looked absolutely terrible and have been competitive except for the Bills game. So I'm actually going to give them an A-.
That's very
based
fair.
on expectations.
I think that's fair. I mean, Sam Howell, we didn't know what to see from Sam Howell. He's played good football so far. Brian Robinson, he's elevated his game, and their defense has made plays when it matters. The Bieniemy experiment to this point is a success. I won't give them an A-, but I will give them a B+ because I think that they've surprised a lot of people, and I think that they're going to play some competitive football and could fight for that wild card spot at the end.
Could fight for that wild card. So you have a B++.
I'm giving them a B plus.
B plus, and I have a minus for the Commanders based on expectations, which brings us to the disgusting, the deplorable, the underachieving Giants. Who could have seen this coming? You picked them to go 2-15 this year. What have they done lately? So they go the first 6 quarters of the season without scoring. They lose Saquon Barkley because they go the first 6 quarters of the season without scoring. And then it takes everything to beat the Cardinals. You get smacked down by the Cowboys. Would they lose 40-0 in that game on opening night? And then you go out there, beat the Cardinals, and then you lose your next game. What was the week 3 game? I'm blanking out.
The 49ers.
The 49ers, where the 49ers smack you down on Thursday Night Football. Not only do you get extra rest, you get a Thursday to Monday night game. And what do you do to recover that? You score 12 points versus the 49ers. Well, hold my beer. We didn't score any points in week 1, and we're only going to score 3 points on Monday Night Football when Eli Manning is there calling you, when you just paid Daniel Jones and gave him one of the worst contracts now in NFL history. I don't care when they can get out of it. You still paid an absolute useless joke of a quarterback in Daniel Jones. You get an F minus. Actually, no, you get a Z. In this game, I'm going all the way down to the alphabet. I know Z isn't a grade, but if the Giants can't get an F, they can't get a G, they have to get a Z. This has to be one of the most disappointing teams of the season, and we saw it coming, and they overachieved on how bad we thought they could be this year. They aren't sneaking up on anybody this year, and it's very apparent because you lose 24-3, 40-0. You fall down 28-0 versus the Cardinals, and then you get smacked down on Thursday Night Football. It's a pass because it's the 49ers, but every other game you looked fucking embarrassing.
Yes.
Z.
You give them a Z? Well, I'm going to be surprised by my grade. I'm going to give them a B.
For
bad. No, I'm not giving them a B. I'm actually going to give them a T for terrible. Because if you remove the second half of the 49ers, of the Cardinals game, where they went 31-8, if you remove that from them, you want to know what their points are? They've scored 15 points in 4 games. If you remove that second half, and they've been outscored 15-91. That's worse than the Bears. And the Bears, they're not going to get a kind rating when we review them. This team, Daniel Jones, fraud. Darren Waller, fraud. Matt Breida, fraud. Dare I continue? Darius Slayton, who? Bobby Okereke, according to the announcers, fraud. Kayvon Thibodeau, where is he? He's lost. Maybe he's in Manhattan asking for spare change. This Giants team is a fraud in every sense of the word. I got ridiculed. You guys don't understand. I got harassed in the comments for giving the Giants a 2-15.
We got harassed.
We got absolutely torched for saying Daniel Jones, he's not very good at football. He has the most fumbles in the NFL since he went into the league. He's a fumble machine. And you gave him $50 million this year. So this is what you get. You get 15 points over 4 games if you exclude the second half of the Cardinals game against an actively tanking Cardinals team. You get a T for terrible. This is horrible. They don't deserve an F. They don't deserve a G. They don't deserve all the other clever ratings that I've given to this point. They get a T for terrible. They are disgrace. If it wasn't for Brian Daboll, I'd say bring him to the XFL.